Have you ever felt like someone carved a hole in your chest and then disappeared into thin air? That ache? That unbearable silence? That constant questioning of everything you thought you knew about them, about yourself, about what you two had. You check your phone. Nothing. You check again. Nothing. And that nothing, it eats you alive from the inside. But here's what nobody tells you. Here's the thing that keeps you up at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every text, every moment that led to this devastating quiet. They're not gone. Not really. They're still watching, still lurking, still present in every way that matters except the one way you need them to be. And I need you to hear this. Really hear it, because what you're about to learn in the next few minutes might just be the thing that finally sets you free from this invisible prison. This is one of the most painful human experiences there is. Someone who could touch your soul. Someone who made you feel alive. Someone who promised you something with their presence, with their time, with their attention, and then one day just stopped. Not with a fight, not with a proper ending, but with silence, with absence, with a vanishing act that leaves you breathless and broken. They didn't have the courage to stay, but they also didn't have the courage to truly leave. And that contradiction, that's not your fault. That's not your problem to solve. And that's not something you did wrong. Because what if I told you that their silence says absolutely everything about them and nothing about you? What if I told you that the person who walked away but keeps peeking through the cracks, who left but won't stop watching, who won't talk but won't let you go? What if I told you that person is not a mystery you need to solve? What if that person is actually a wound you need to recognize, understand, and then walk away from with your head held high and your heart completely protected? That's what this video is about. That's what you're here to learn. And I'm going to break it down in a way that will make you feel like someone finally turned the lights on in a dark room you've been stumbling through alone. By the time this is over, you're going to understand exactly why they did what they did, why they act the way they act, why silence is their language, why they pull you close and push you away in the same breath. You're going to understand the psychology behind it, the fear that drives it, the emptiness that fuels it, and most importantly, you're going to understand why you deserve so much more than what they were ever capable of giving you. But this isn't just about understanding them. This is about understanding yourself, your attachment style, your patterns, your part in the cycle that kept you stuck. Because here's the truth nobody talks about. The reason you keep attracting this, the reason you keep ending up in this painful space starts with you. And I'm not saying that to blame you. I'm saying that to empower you, because if it starts with you, then it can change with you. And that's the most powerful thing you will ever realize. So pay attention. Really pay attention, because what I'm about to share with you is the key to finally breaking free from this pattern, from this pain, from this person who won't let go but also won't show up. The answer you need is in the next few minutes, the closure you've been chasing in their silence. You're going to find it right here in understanding what they could never explain to you themselves. Stay with me until the end. I promise you this. If you do, you will walk away different. You will walk away lighter. You will walk away with something that silence could never give you. Clarity. And clarity, my friend, is the beginning of everything. Now that you have that understanding, let me introduce you to something you need to recognize. There's a specific type of person who does this. Not all people who go silent are the same. But this particular kind, this one leaves a fingerprint on your soul that takes months, sometimes years to erase. They are called the avoidant. Now, I'm not going to get clinical on you. I'm not going to throw psychology jargon at you until your head spins. I want you to understand this in your bones, not just in your head. Here's the simplest way I can explain it. The avoidant is someone who loves you from 10 feet away. They want you close, but not too close. They want the connection, but not the intimacy. They want the comfort of having you in their life without ever having to show up fully in yours. They are the person who will hold your hand in public and ghost you in private. Who will tell you you're amazing and then disappear for 3 days without a single word. Who will make you feel like the most important person in the world when and then treat you like an option when the moment passes. They are not bad people. I need you to hear that. Most of them don't even realize they're doing it. Their brain is wired differently. Their heart operates on a different frequency, and their fear of getting too close is so deep, so primal, that their only solution is to run. But here's what you need to understand about running. They don't run because they don't feel anything. They run because they feel too much. That's right. You heard me. The avoidant doesn't go silent because they stopped caring. They go silent because they started caring too deeply, and that depth terrified them. Think about it. When something is easy, you don't run from it. When something feels safe, you lean into it. but when something starts to feel real, when it starts to matter, and when it starts to demand something from you. The person who is not ready, who is not whole, who has not done their own healing, that person panics. And what does a panicked person do? They create distance. They build walls. They find reasons to pull back. They start questioning everything you do, everything you say, every text you send. Not because they found something wrong with you, but because they found something terrifying in themselves. This is the part nobody talks about. The avoidant is not cold. They are not heartless. They are not incapable of love. They are simply someone who never learned how to be loved fully. Someone whose early experiences taught them that closeness is dangerous, that needing someone is weakness, that opening up leads to pain. So, they built armor. They learned to keep one foot out the door. They made a habit of staying just enough to make you think they're invested, while always keeping themselves ready to leave. And you became the perfect target for that pattern. Why? Because you felt things deeply, because you loved without reservation, because you gave your whole heart to someone who only knew how to take pieces of it. That's not your weakness, that's your strength. The fact that you loved fully, that you committed deeply, that you showed up completely, that is who you are at your core. And the universe will reward that quality. But right now, in this moment with this person, it feels like a curse because they can't meet you where you are. They can't give you what you're capable of receiving. They are running from something you represent, which is a love so real, so demanding, so all-encompassing that their shallow heart doesn't know what to do with it. So they ran, and silence became their language. Absence became their answer. Distance became their way of staying close without ever having to truly let you in. This is who the avoidant is. This is what drives them. This is the invisible force that makes them pull you close and then vanish into nothing. And once you truly understand this, once you see them clearly, something powerful happens. You stop blaming yourself. You stop wondering what you did wrong. You stop begging for answers from someone who doesn't have them. You start seeing the pattern for what it is. And you start asking yourself a different question. Not why did they leave, but why did I accept so little because you deserve more? You always did. And the moment you see the avoidant clearly, not as a villain, not as a mystery, but as a wounded person who cannot give you what you need, that moment is the moment your healing begins. Here's what nobody tells you about the person who walked away. They didn't actually leave. They just changed the way they touch you. They just switched from holding your hand to watching your screen. They traded real presence for digital presence. And they did it so quietly, so subtly that you almost didn't notice the shift. But you noticed, didn't you? Because you're still seeing them. Not in your life, but in your metrics, in your views, in the small clues that prove they're still around, still watching, still present in every way that counts, except the one way you actually need. They watch your stories, every single one. The ones you post when you're moving on, the ones you post when you're having a good day, the ones you post just to see if they'll react. And they don't react. Not with a message, not with a comment, not with anything real, but they're there lurking, present, accountable in the shadows while being completely absent in the light. This is what I call the silence that screams because it is not silence at all. It is a message. It is a signal. It is a choice made every single day to watch you from a distance rather than be with you up close. Think about that for a second. If someone truly moved on, truly let go, truly walked away, would they still be watching your every move? Would they still be keeping tabs on your life? Would they still be showing up in your analytics, in your view count, in the invisible thread that connects your digital world to theirs? No, they wouldn't. The person who has genuinely let go does not care what you had for breakfast, does not check if you're happy without them, does not spend their nights scrolling through your profile looking for clues about who you're becoming. But the avoidant does. The avoidant can't help it, because letting go completely feels like dying to them. They need to keep one foot in your world. Just enough to feel connected, just enough to have an option, just enough to know you're still there if they ever decide to come back. This is not love. This is not even care. This is control disguised as indifference. Think about the power dynamic here. They left. They made the choice to go silent. They decided to walk away from the conversation, from the connection, from the relationship, but then they still expect you to be there when they're ready. They still want access to your life. They still want to know what's happening with you, how you're feeling, who you're becoming, without ever having to commit to being part of it. That's not distance. That's not independence. That's not I need space. That's the psychology of someone who wants all the benefits of connection without any of the responsibility of maintaining it. They keep you on a leash without ever putting a collar on you. They stay connected through surveillance. They feel close through observation. They maintain an invisible presence that keeps you thinking about them, wondering about them, waiting for them. And the worst part, they know exactly what they're doing. The avoidant who watches your stories but never messages you is playing a psychological game. They don't even fully understand themselves. Every view is a message. Every impression is a sign. Every time they show up in your analytics without a word, they're telling you something without ever having to say it. They're telling you, I'm here, I'm watching, but I'm not ready. And I need you to wait for me without me asking you to wait. And you, with your beautiful, open, deeply feeling heart, you keep waiting. You keep hoping. You keep checking if they've seen your latest post. You keep wondering what it means. It means nothing. And it means everything. It means they haven't truly let go. And it means you shouldn't either. Not because of them, but because you deserve someone who shows up fully. Not someone who watches from the shadows, pretending they don't care while caring so much they can't look away. That's the truth. That's the painful, liberating, clarifying truth. Their silence is not absence. It's a presence of a different kind. And once you see it for what it is, once you understand that their watching is their way of staying connected without commitment, you can stop giving that watching so much power, because it was never a sign. It was never a clue. It was never an invitation to keep waiting. It was just the avoidant doing what the avoidant does, keeping one foot in, one eye on you, one door slightly open, while you, worthy of so much more, kept that door open for them too. Let me tell you something that might sound impossible to believe right now. This person who left you in the dark. This person who built walls between you when things got real. This person who chose silence over conversation, distance over closeness, absence over presence. That person never actually wanted to leave you. I know how that sounds. After everything they put you through, after all the confusion and pain and unanswered questions, telling you they didn't want to leave feels like an insult. But stay with me, because what I'm about to say is the key to everything. The avoidant fears two things with equal intensity: connection and abandonment. They are terrified of both at the same exact time. And that impossible contradiction is what drives their every move. Think about it. When you get too close, they panic because closeness means vulnerability. Closeness means having to show up fully. Closeness means being seen, truly seen. And that is their deepest fear. Because what if you see something broken? What if you see the parts they've hidden from everyone? What if real intimacy reveals that they are not enough? So they pull away. They create distance. They find reasons to disconnect before you can disconnect from them. But here's the other side. The avoidant is also terrified of being truly abandoned, of losing you completely, of pressing that button and watching you walk away forever with no way to get you back. So what do? They create a middle ground. They create silence without departure. They choose the worst of both worlds. They leave without leaving. They disappear without disappearing completely. This is their solution to an impossible fear. This is their way of having the escape without the loss. They get to leave the room without anyone actually leaving their life. They get to walk away from the relationship without walking away from the access. They get to protect themselves from connection while keeping you close enough that they never have to feel truly alone. This is the contradiction that lives inside them. This is the war happening inside their chest every single day. They want to be free of you, and they cannot bear to lose you at the same exact moment. They want to move on, and they cannot stop checking if you're still there. They want to let go, and they cannot stop watching your life from a distance. And you standing in the middle of this impossible situation, you are caught in the crossfire of a war you never signed up for. This is what their silence really means. It's not an answer. It's not a statement. It's not a decision about you or your relationship or your future together. Their silence is their fear wearing a mask. Their distance is their terror dressed up as choice. And their inability to truly leave is the part of them that knew somewhere deep down that losing you completely was something they could not survive. That's why they keep watching. That's why they keep showing up in your metrics. That's why they vanished from your life, but never vanished from your periphery. Because they need to know you still exist. They need to know you haven't moved on. They need to know there's still a chance, however small, however unlikely, that you might still be there if they ever work up the courage to actually try. But here's what you need to hear, and hear clearly. Their fear is not your responsibility. Their contradiction is not your problem to solve. Their inability to be fully in or fully out is not a sign that you should wait around while they figure themselves out. Because the truth is simple and brutal and freeing all at once. The person who truly wants to be with you will find a way to be with you. Not a way to watch you from the shadows. not a way to keep you as an option, not a way to stay connected without ever having to commit. The person who truly wants to be with you will choose you completely, consciously, consistently. And the person who cannot do that, no matter how much they claim to care, no matter how much they watch from the distance, no matter how much they insist they never wanted to lose you, that person is not ready for what you're offering. You are not a maybe. You are not a backup plan. You are not a door they can keep open while refusing to walk through it. You are a whole, complete, extraordinary human being who deserves someone who chooses you with their whole heart, not someone who hovers between leaving and staying while expecting you to wait in the middle. That's the truth. That's the liberating, painful, necessary truth. And now you know why they can't truly leave. It's not love. It's not devotion. It's fear wearing the clothes of something else. Understanding this is your first step out of the maze. Because once you see clearly that their behavior has nothing to do with your worth, everything changes.